Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. Celia would like to introduce you to Michael Phillips. Hi, good morning. How are you doing? I'm fine, thanks. Where are you from? I live in Durham in the north of England. Okay, I live in Manchester. Pleasure meeting you, Celia. Which part of Manchester? I live in East Salford. I'm a civil engineer. What about you? What do you do for work? I'm an administrator in the admissions department of Durham University. What do you do as a civil engineer? Okay, impressive. Celia nearly told him off for that, but decided against it. I'm into the construction of roads, bridges, houses. I'm a private contractor. Are you married, Celia? That sounds like a wide range of not very closely related skills. Who do you usually work for? I'm a widow. Well, they are, he said, in reply to her saying they sounded like not very closely related skills. Okay. I'm a private contractor. I've worked for private companies and I've also worked for the government. No need to repeat yourself. Who are you privately contracted to work for now? Okay, same here. My wife passed some time ago. And in reply to her asking who he was privately contracted to work with now, he said, I don't feel as though I'm at liberty to discuss that. We're just getting to know each other. In other words, as usual, he hadn't thought it through. Okay, said Celia, I won't be answering any questions either. I have a daughter. She's 14 years old. What about you? Any kids? Unfortunately, she continued, I've already told you who I work for. And in answer to him saying, how about you? Any kids? She said, I don't feel so I'm at liberty to discuss that. We're just getting to know each other. I don't mean to be rude. Presently I'm not contracted to any company. So the answer is that you're currently out of work. Pretty much. Not unemployed. Not just presently operating any contracts. Okay. Do you have children? I have an adult son. He lives in Sydney in Australia. Okay, nice. My daughter is just 14. She lives with me. Are you originally from the UK? Make the most of it, Cecilia. They grow up so quickly. I've always lived in Durham. So true. Feels like just 5 minutes ago she was a baby. Okay. Well, I'm originally from Luxembourg. You seem like an easygoing and free-spirited person. What's your first language? Asked Celia. I don't remember what they speak there. A man, of course, went off. I promise you there was a gap. And consulted Google. I speak English primarily. In Luxembourg we speak a variety of languages. But which language do your family speak? Luxembourgish being one of the main languages. That's what your own family speak. How old are you? Hope you don't mind me asking. Not until you answer my last question, please. Luxembourgish is what my family speaks, but I've been in the UK for quite some time, so English has become my first language. Yeah. I'm 55. Cecilia, how old are you? I'm 54, going to 55 this year in July. How long have you been in the UK? Over a decade. I moved here after me and my late wife got together. She came for a vacation in Luxembourg and that's how we came across each other. And I moved to the UK with her. So she isn't the mother of your daughter. Remember, his daughter's 14. She is? She passed away when my daughter was 5, 9 years ago of cancer. So you've been in the UK for longer than a decade. Or do you just like asking me questions, where I'm sure you expect a proper answer, but just feel you can answer my questions with approximate answers. I'll do that from now on. My apologies if my approach to answering your questions are dissatisfactory. It's not done intentionally. Yes, it is, Cecilia. It's been deliberate. I've been in the UK for about 17 years now. So she copied where, when she'd asked him who was he privately contracted to work for, he'd said, I don't feel as though I'm at liberty to discuss that. She said that was deliberate. My apologies if you feel that way. I do. Sorry for that. Don't be offended. And in reply to him saying he'd been in the UK for 17 years now, she said a lot longer than a decade. Another deliberately vague answer. I'll be following your example. We'll make changes to my vague nature of answering your questions. Can we talk on a more convenient platform like WhatsApp? I'm much more used to that. I'm not very good at using Facebook and I'm still getting the hang of it. WhatsApp would be much more convenient. And if somebody tells you a silly story like that, then you know you're talking to a scammer who's afraid that Facebook will remove their fake account and wants to move you to somewhere where that's less likely to happen. I don't give my number to people I've only met online, said Celia. We could use chat. I see. My email is, she said, giving him her email. Okay, I don't really use that. Then I guess we'd better stay on Facebook. All right. Somehow I'm sure you'll get the hang of it, since you managed to send me a friend request, and you're managing to talk to me here. You have my email if your account on Facebook magically disappears. Yeah, probably so. Would like to get to know you more, Celia. What are your hobbies? Underwater Scrabble, boarding and singing in the local choir. What are yours? I love swimming, cycling, exercising, cooking and watching movies. Where'd you go cycling? What's your favourite kind of music? Classical choral music. And in reply to her asking where he goes cycling, he said, I don't do it professionally, just on the road sometimes. Yes, but where? Okay, nice, I love R&B. I can't imagine that cycling round Salford is much fun. By the riverside most times. Riverside? In Salford? Which river is that? There are rivers here in Salford? Yes. Celia, which ones? I don't know any, but it's a while since I've been there. Now, man, give him his credit. Managed to look on a map. There are several rivers here, like St. Peter Basin, River Irwell, Folly Brook, and several others. Okay, said Celia. Yeah? Are your parents still alive? My mother is. She lives in Guildford. Are yours? Okay, no, both my parents died a long time ago. Since your husband's passing, have you been in any relationships? No, I haven't, have you? Yes, I did. I've tried dating once, didn't work out. How long ago did your husband pass? He died 6 years ago. I've just arrived at work, said Celia when I realised it was 9 a.m. Okay, I have a Teams meeting in about 10 minutes. Okay, I see. Not a problem. We can talk when you're less busy. Yes, Celia, I'll see if you're around at lunchtime. Okay. I just stopped for lunch, she said at lunchtime, but our man wasn't there. I didn't respond when you sent me this, because I wasn't online. My apologies. As I said earlier, I'm not frequently on Facebook. I presume you're back to work by now, so we'll just talk more in the evening when you're off work. Hi, Cecilia, I'm home. Okay, said our man, suddenly realising that he needed to get off Facebook and Celia wasn't going to use WhatsApp. I'll message you on chat now, he said. And so, they moved to chat. Over on chat. Our man thought he'd get some of those important issues out of the way. Hello, Celia, how you doing? It's Michael from Facebook. Hi, sorry I couldn't find your message. Found it now. All right. How was your day? We were quite busy at work this afternoon. I had 2 Teams meetings. How was yours? Okay. My day was good, not too stressful. Have you had dinner? And if the person that you're talking to online can't tell you what they actually did during their day and just comes up with some random generic description, just think about who you might be talking to. No, said Celia, it's cooking now. It's some chilli with rice and yes, it's yummy. Okay, said our man. Have you had dinner? And in reply to him saying his day was good, not too stressful, she said, what did you do? Not much. Had some conversations with my daughter and take care of a few things at home. And in reply to her asking if he'd had dinner, he said, not yet. Why wasn't your daughter at school? Or are we back to you giving me vague, non-specific answers? I really have to do the same thing. Before she left and after she came back. I really am not doing that intentionally. Sorry if you feel I am. Okay, said Celia. My dinner's ready. I can hear the kitchen timer beeping. All right, you can go ahead and have dinner. Thank you so much, pal. We'll do same. Talk later. Hello, Celia. How are you doing? Hello again, said Celia. My mother rang. By now it was about 9:15 at night. All right. What have you been up to? I just told you, said Celia. I know. Besides that, I went to work. You know that. I came home and made dinner. You know that. It was chilli and rice. You know that. Then my mother rang. You know that. What have you been up to, apart from 2 conversations with your daughter before she went to school and after she came home? I'm pretty much up to date on what you've done so far. What have you been up to? And I expect a full and proper description, exactly as you wanted from me. I talked to some people I work with. Again, notice he can't describe what he did because he has no idea. I made dinner for me and my daughter. It was chicken wings and sauce. I listened to some music, mainly Elvis Presley, and now I'm speaking with you. That's his entire day, I doubt it. I thought you didn't have any work, said Celia. I don't, presently. We didn't exactly talk about work, just catching up. Oh, I see. Yeah! Are you religious? Here we go. No, I'm not. OK. What's your favourite dish? She should have said the pie dish. I don't think I have one. What's yours? And you didn't tell me your religion. I love Italian food, like spaghetti. I'm not religious either, although I was raised Catholic. How often do you get contracts? Asked Celia. I'm guessing you don't want to be without one for too long. What was your last one? Very often, actually. Last year. No, what was it? Construction of an office complex. Do you work full-time at the university? Yes, I do, 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. In Salford? She asked, about the office block. I guess you have to hire a team to do the building. OK. How's that an answer? No, he said in reply to her saying in Salford, yes, I do hire a team. Oh, OK. Where? I wasn't answering. I responded to what you'd said about your work, in reply to her saying, how is that an answer? Rochester, which is in Kent, a long way from Salford. Goodness, Celia, I thought you had to look after your daughter. Or did you somehow manage to commute during school hours? Whenever I'm not around, she stays at her friend's place. The parents of her friend are family friends of I and my late wife. OK, said Celia, that's very kind of them. Yeah, really supportive and loving people. You're very lucky to have them. Do you often work away? I guess you take local contracts when you can. Of course I do. I sometimes work locally, and when I have to travel, I do. What are you hoping to do next? Anything that will be beneficial and convenient. Whatever that means, said Celia. What do you mean by beneficial? I presume convenient means local. By beneficial, I mean bring in a lot of money. Exactly the way a genuine building contractor would talk. And in reply to her saying I presume convenient means local, he said not exclusively. Then what did you mean by convenient? Something that won't be too difficult to accomplish. Some projects are easier than others. Do you understand now? And if the person that you're talking to ever types, do you understand now? Then you know you're talking to a scammer. It's one of their standard phrases when they can't explain to you what they're talking about. Oh, OK, said Celia. Yeah. Where'd you find contracts to bid for? Is there a website? Or an agency somewhere? I often submit proposals with several companies, and over the years I have created some government contacts. OK, but how do you find contracts to bid on? Obviously government contracts have to go out to open tender, so they must be listed somewhere. Some companies publish their need for contractors on newspapers and other mass media outlets. I've got to admit, our man was doing quite well by now. Yeah. And then our man handed his phone to his mate. You seem really enthusiastic, nice. What's the nature of your profession? It hasn't changed since your mate asked me on Facebook, said Celia. Give the phone back to him, please. I know what you said earlier, said our man, hastily looking on Facebook. You work in the university, just curious as to what exactly is the nature of it, as you've been about mine. What does this mean? He said, reading. Give the phone back to his mate, please. I preferred talking to you, said Celia. The one with the brain. I think I told you I work in the admissions department. What else do you want to know? The nature of my job is administrative. I'm getting mixed signals now. I'm the same person. So she copied where it said, you seem really enthusiastic, nice. What's the nature of your profession? You didn't randomly write that, said Celia. All right, I see. I didn't. Just curious. That doesn't even sound as if it was written by you. It was random and irrelevant. OK, I see where you're coming from, said our man, grabbing the phone back from his mate. If you have nothing to say, or you're busy, you can just say nothing, rather than giving your phone to someone that types rubbish, please. Didn't put a lot of thought into it. You asked a lot about what I do, and I felt like doing the same. Our man's about to tie himself up in knots for a minute or two. You're welcome to ask, said Celia. That's what I did, and you reacted in a rather unpleasant manner. Yeah, you asked what I've already told you. The rest I answered. If there's anything specific you want to know, you're welcome to ask. Nothing specific. Great. So why are you going on about it? We were talking about my profession, and I didn't want to digress into something completely different, so I felt we should stay on topic by talking about yours as well. But now you say you don't want to know about it after all. How weird. Or do you prefer serious topics, such as my favourite colour, or if I smoke, drink or party all the time? Because I didn't like the way you reacted to me asking in the first place. It was quite rude. I didn't like being asked what I've already answered. It makes me think you didn't read what I said the first time. And now you say you don't actually want to know about what I do anyway. So I'm not even sure why you asked. So it's you that's being rude, isn't it? I was actually interested in your work. But you say you only asked about mine because I was asking about yours and you don't really want to know. Agree to disagree? I'll take that to mean that you aren't interested in my work and only asked because I expressed an interest in yours. Our man thought he'd better change tack. I am interested, but after seeing how you reacted the first time, I thought maybe you don't want to talk about your work. So she copied where she'd said if there's anything specific you want to know, you're welcome to ask, and he'd said, nothing specific. So no, you aren't interested. You simply asked me what you'd asked before because you hadn't bothered to read it the first time. That's what really happened, isn't it? Your reaction made me lose interest because I didn't want it to seem as though I was crossing any boundaries. And now, because you didn't read what I said first time, you're trying to blame me. Well, it won't work, mate. I don't like narcissists. I understand your plight. My sincere apologies if I've offended you. Wasn't my intention to do so. It's not my plight, it's yours. You're the narcissist trying to blame me for your mistakes. Please don't do it again. Sorry about that. I wasn't trying to blame you, just wanted you to understand what I was saying. No, you didn't want me to understand what you were saying. I understand. It won't repeat itself. Good. And please don't give your phone to your semi-literate mate to type irrelevant rubbish again. And don't try to pretend that you didn't. You've got a friend round for a few drinks because you don't have to go to work. Whatever you say. I hope your daughter's in her room and not having to interact with your drunk pal. 14 is an impressionable age. Let's talk about something more of this nature, he said, copying where she'd said, or do you prefer serious topics such as my favourite colour, or if I smoke, drink or party all the time? My daughter's asleep, thanks for your concern. Oh, FGS, replied Celia. The childish rubbish that brain-dead idiots from Nigeria type from their lists. That was meant to be a joke. OK, didn't see it as such. You seemed serious about it. Well, what would you like to talk about? Nothing, said Celia. I have to go to bed soon. I have to start work early tomorrow, as I have a Teams meeting with some colleagues in Australia. It's always difficult finding times at work if I have to do that. OK, I see. Well, you can go to sleep and do what you have to. I'll see if you're online again at lunchtime tomorrow. OK, I'll look forward to our conversation. Good night for now. Same. Hello, Celia. Good morning. Good morning, said Celia. It's quite sunny here this morning. OK, well, that's a good thing. Yes, it is. Now my meeting's finished, I might go for a short walk. I started at 7:30 a.m, so I can talk to some colleagues in Sydney. OK. What are you doing today? Oh, why did you ask, Celia? Exercise, make some food, read and communicate with a few people. So you aren't spending any time looking for work or writing proposals? I told you yesterday that I spoke with some people I do business with. Those are the same group of people I'm going to be speaking with today. Yes, but you said you weren't talking about work. I've just stopped for lunch. I think I'm going to take a couple of hours and go into the city centre and do some shopping. I can't leave early, as two of us have to go and meet the principal of Grey College at 4:30 p.m. All right, sorry for not responding earlier. Been quite occupied, said our man, who never apparently does anything. Hello, said Celia. I'm just going to cook some dinner. All right, I've been meaning to ask you something. Here we go. Hi again. What do you want to ask? We're both widowed and single, and I'm looking for a committed relationship. That's basically why I'm active on the internet these days. So my question is, what do you want? Are you interested in finding love? I might be, but I don't think I could love someone unless I met them. I see what you're saying, but I feel the chemistry and flow is what really matters. Let's see how things go, shall we, said Celia. And if there's a connection, then it can work, regardless. I think you should come over to Durham one day so we can meet. Look, it's only 2 hours on the train, she said, copying a little extract from the train booking service. I'll look towards doing that, said our man hastily, but until then I believe we can keep talking on the phone and see where that takes us. We do need to get this man on the phone, don't we? Of course we can, said Celia. Splendid! What exactly do you look for in a man? Well, he did ask. I like a man who can have an intelligent conversation, who answers questions first time, Who's educated? I see, said our probably very disappointed scammer. So basically, you want a highly intelligent man. I resonate with that. Having someone with same level of intelligence is really delightful. Yes, I do, said Celia. Okay. Maybe someone that enjoys the countryside. We have lots of amazing walks in this area and likes historic buildings. All right. Well, I love exploring the beauty of nature and I'm an archaeological enthusiast. Not professionally, but I love learning about ancient remains. How interesting, said Celia. Maybe I should see if our archaeology department have any public lectures coming up. Yeah! And then Celia woke up the next morning to this wonderful sentence. What are your intellectual stimulants? Sorry if I'm being tardy with my replies, just not used to this platform. Hello, Celia. Good morning. And in reply to him asking what were her intellectual stimulants, she said, I don't think I know what you mean, so I don't think I know what he meant. Please explain, or tell me yours so I understand what you mean. Yes, tell me yours. I think that will help me understand. OK, well, my major one, I would say, is politics. I wonder what his views are on the British political system. I should have asked him. Oh no, I hate politics, said Celia. I really don't think we need politics on the channel, do we, guys? And in reply to her saying, I don't think I know what you mean, please explain, he said, I mean conversations that make you more cognitive and pay more attention to detail. What a total twerp. I don't even know what that means, said Celia. Oh, I see. Well, what are yours? In reply to her saying she hated politics. I'm still trying to work out what you mean, she said. And in reply to him saying, conversations that make you more cognitive and pay more attention to detail, she said, so again, please elaborate and tell me more about yours. You said you love an intelligent partner, so do I, so I'm asking what kind of intelligent conversations do you like having? As far as I'm aware, replied Celia, to conversations that made her more cognitive, I'm fully cognitive, most of the time, and I definitely pay full attention to detail when I won't work. And in reply to him saying, you said you love an intelligent partner, as do I, she said, then why didn't you say that? And in reply to him saying, you said you love an intelligent partner, as do I, so I'm asking what kind of intelligent conversations do you like having? Well, that was a red rag to a bull, so Celia let rip. Then why didn't you say that? A man that can talk properly about his work, about his life. I meet so many men online who have a childish list of banal questions and think knowing my favourite colour is important, or whether I smoke, drink, flirt, or other idiotic childish questions. Then if you try to ask them about their work, can't even tell you what they do, refuse to continue talking about any specific topic, and keep changing the subject. That isn't having a conversation, that's working their way down some list because they're too stupid to know what they're talking about. So I like a man that can keep talking about a topic, any topic, and doesn't need to keep changing the subject. So if I asked you about some of your previous projects, for example, she said, putting him on warning, you wouldn't just tell me one thing, even though you've been working for many years. You'd tell me how you started, where you studied, how your career has developed and progressed, why you specialised in specific areas. You know, you'd have a proper conversation and not make me have to ask several times. Someone who, if I asked about travel, wouldn't say something childish like, I've been to over 20 countries, then list 19, and not tell me where he went in those countries, not tell me why he went, not tell me when he went, etc. Someone who doesn't say, you ask too many questions, because they're unable to answer, and I have to ask the same question many times. That's such an annoying trait in so many of the idiots I meet online. Oh dear, said Celia, you've started me off, sorry, and my phone's ringing, I have to go. Well, that, of course, laid down a challenge, and so our man thought he'd shoot himself in the foot. This could be fun in the future. And if you can't already tell, I am hoping that this man might turn into a series. Who knows at this stage? This is really elaborate, he said, and I understand the message you're trying to convey. I see where you're coming from. People who are able to maintain a conversation long enough and give intricate details to specific questions aren't easy to come across. No, they're not, mate, and you're not one of them. Being able to maintain a specific conversation is a testament of true intelligence and stability. Now that I understand your preference better, I'll keep up to that. Challenge accepted. Let's see. Hello, said Celia. I'm just on my lunch break. I don't expect you to be here, so I'll talk to you when I get home this evening. I just got home, she said a few hours later. Hi, good evening. Hello. OK, I see, he said in reply to her saying she just got home. Been quite a busy day for me. Doing some paperwork. And if the person that you're talking to online tells you they've been doing paperwork, there's about a 99% chance that you're talking to a scammer. It's one of their standard phrases. They don't even know what it means, and it means they don't have to tell you what they've actually been doing, which is probably trying to scam lots of other people. Is that good news? Asked Celia. Does that mean you've found a contract to apply for? I never know what people mean by paperwork when obviously everything is done online these days. We were busy too. Yesterday was the last day for applications from students wanting to join us in September. By the way, I don't know what the admissions department at the university does. I don't even know if they have one, so I just make it up. We, the departments and the colleges, have to handle upwards of 50,000 applications. We take around 7,500 students each year, but the colleges and departments have to sift through all the applications, decide who to make an offer of a place to, and then wait and see what happens when the A-level results come out in August. I'll be spending the next few days populating spreadsheets. After a while I go cross-eyed. Not exactly, he said in reply to her asking if he'd found a contract to apply for. Just sorting out some old files. So you weren't busy at all? Well, not everything, he said in reply to her saying everything's done online. I still like some of my work being hard files more reliable, in my opinion. You mean you waste a lot of paper by printing things out? I don't see it as such. Goodness, imagine having to print out the tender documents for a large project. The mind boggles, and then you can't search the document to find what you want. So he thought he'd reply to what she'd said. This is indeed a lot of work. I believe you're up to the task. Of course we are, said Celia. What a daft thing to say. We do it every year. And in reply to her saying you can't search a document if you've printed it out, he said, sometimes gets really stressful. Another clue you're talking to a scammer. They're obsessed with stress. But I've gotten used to it. I thought as much, he said in reply to her saying they did it every year. Is gotten a usual Mancunian saying? Not exactly. I'm just used to the word. Do you have American colleagues? She asked. I've worked with Americans in the past, but not presently. Oh, OK. My dinner's ready. I need to go and get it out of the oven. OK, talk later. I'm back with my dinner and a large mug of tea. OK, said half an hour later. Well, I just had mine, mashed potatoes and meat stew. You can't beat a good stew when it's cold outside, Celia. I guess that's one of the things your daughter likes. Yeah, we both like it a lot. Have you always lived in Salford? It'd be lovely to actually talk to you sometime. I'd love to hear your voice, because I know you're all dying to hear him, ladies and gentlemen. And remember, he's already told her he comes from Luxembourg, so we don't expect a Mancunian accent. No, I've lived in Denton, also part of Manchester. I once lived in London as well, Greenwich. I've always lived in Durham, said Celia, who, as you can tell, can't do a Durham accent. I feel the same way, he said in reply to her, saying it'd be lovely to talk to him. Same here. Can I call you now? This was 8 o'clock at night. Panic, of course, set in, because our man couldn't find the person that talks to people. All right, your parents are from there as well. No, some other time. No, my parents came from Guildford, which is why Mum moved back there. They came to Durham because my father was offered a job at Durham School. I was born here, but Mum moved around 10 years ago, I think. Oh, she said in reply to him saying some other time. Why not? Our man, of course, had to start thinking of excuses. So in reply to her saying that her parents came from Guildford, he said, OK, I see. Well, I believe I already told you I'm from Luxembourg, and I moved to the UK when I met my wife. She came for a vacation in Luxembourg City, and that's where we met. I later followed her back here when we decided to get married. After she passed, I didn't feel the need to return, as our daughter was born here, and I was already stable here and don't really have a family back in Luxembourg. Yes, you did tell me that, said Celia. Have you ever taken your daughter there? And in reply to her asking why she couldn't call him now, he tried. Just not convenient now. I'm not used to taking calls at night. Another time, I promise. That doesn't sound very convincing. said Celia, but it'll have to do. No, not yet. Plan to do so when she's older, in reply to her asking if he'd taken his daughter to Luxembourg. Thanks for understanding. What time do you stop taking calls? Don't have a fixed time, just don't do it at night. So if I call when I get home from work tomorrow, that should be okay? That should be okay. I'll look forward to it. All right, same. I would like to get to know the things you like and dislike. Here we go. Just the basics. Not sure what you mean, Celia. Tell me yours, so I know what we're talking about. Our man broke out the list. I mean the kind of things you're really into and what you like. I like swimming, exercising, reading, cycling, walking my dog. I love action and horror movies. I love old school music and classical sounds and R&B. I'm not a big fan of drinking, but I do socially and occasionally. You already told me a bit before, but would like to know more. If you could be more intricate. He loves using words. It's just he doesn't know how to, or half the time what they mean. And of course the one thing we should never forget with the scammers that I talk to is that for the vast majority of them, English is actually a second language. I only knock their English skills because of who they claim to be, not because of who they are. I admire anyone that can speak 2 languages. I'm hopeless. But he's trying. Let's give him a few brownie points. Intricate? Oh, Celia. I sing with Durham Choral Society, and I love classical choral music. I love Duruflé's motets, most of the major choral works. Berlioz's works are stunning, but I've only been lucky enough to sing the Grand Messe des Morts once, as it requires such huge forces, and most choirs or festivals can't afford it. And if you're curious, it was Tewkesbury Abbey. I spend a lot of time walking locally, or in the dales around Durham, especially with friends. I'm not a great movie watcher. I tend to get bored and lose concentration. When I was a kid, I was sometimes known to fall asleep in the cinema. If you like archaeology, remember he said he did, you'd love Finkel Abbey. It isn't far from here. I sometimes go there if it's a nice summer evening just to walk along the river. Wow! He had to get it in. You must be really into singing. Would love to hear your singing voice someday. Hard luck, pal. Haven't sung for years. Not happening. Okay, I see. Intriguing, he said, in reply to her mentioning Finkel Abbey. Tell me about your dog. I don't have pets. It's not fair, as I'm at work all day. They're lovely bundles of joy, but takes a lot of work. The Frenchie is most times very restless and tends to be quite messy. The Great Dane, on the other hand, is much more calm. They love being cuddles, played with, and are very protective. I see, he said. Having a pet does take a lot of attention. Both my dogs are a whole, H-O-L-E, lot of work. What do you do when you're working away? Take them with you? I get a pet sitter. That must be expensive if you're away for months. Quite. Do you have pets growing up? Not really. We had a cat when I was little, but I think he just disappeared one day and never came home. My father wasn't a great animal lover. Did you? Okay, I see. A runaway cat. Yawn. Sorry. Yes, we did. We had a Labrador. My son and daughter-in-law are calling, said Celia. Okay, you can go ahead and take care of that. We'll talk when you're done. They're so tedious, aren't they, some of these scammers, even the better ones. Oh, well. Good morning, said Celia the following morning. I told them I've been chatting to a lovely man online and that we were going to talk this evening. They're very happy for me, and remember this man claims to be in Manchester, so he's not far away from Celia. So, if her family start getting at her, she'll say he's local, and they're going to meet up. And there's a clue there, ladies and gentlemen. If the person that you're talking to online tells you that they're local, then you have to insist on meeting them. And if they come up with all kinds of excuses for why they can't meet you, then just ask yourself very seriously, who are you really talking to? These two are only 2 hours apart. Celia could hop on the train this weekend and go and see him. She probably isn't going to suggest it. But if she did, and he started making excuses, why? That's good to know, he said. Good morning. But Celia was at work, so she was ignoring him. Will he answer when she tries to call him later today when she gets home from work? Well, there's only one way to find out, and that's to watch episode 2. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please like it, please share it, please comment down below, please subscribe to my channel, and hopefully I'll see you again in Michael Phillips episode 2.